Happy Monday, ladies and gents. A couple folks on this desk are still, I think, recovering from their Travi extravaganza last night. Nameless, Pac-Man, and Study. Is good time?
Yeah,
great
fun.
time. I had a great time. Great
You
time.
posted an Instagram story that had like 80 posts in it. I was mind blown.
It was the same one over and over.
It was the same like 6.
All right, can I explain myself? I recorded it originally on Snapchat. It was a 6-minute long video. Then I tried to transfer it over to Instagram, and it just didn't work. Simple as that. But if you watch the entire thing, you were a maniac, plain and simple.
All right. Okay, so, Nameless, I need to know right off the bat, because coming up we have Envy versus 100 Thieves, and I want to know, what do you think 100 Thieves needs to do to be able to win today?
They need to be able to clutch up and close out games. Same thing with Envious, to be honest. Both these teams get pretty far into series, and they just can't close out games. We saw Envy have a 2-0 lead. We saw 100 Thieves, in a position to win a very easy round last week. That could have forced the round 11, and they choke it. So both these teams have, signs of greatness. They have all the talent. They need to be able to clutch up games. On the side of Envy, more so, they need to have better performances out of individual players like Apathy. Certain players on this roster just need to pick it up and step up to the plate. 100 Thieves, they have no clutch factor right now, and they need to gain that.
Pac, do you think, though, you're seeing any progress from 100 Thieves so far? Or?
Absolutely. From where they started this season to now, they've definitely improved. They haven't improved enough, but if they can go into this next week, come out strong, we could completely change their narrative, right?
Yeah.
A strong week, and now we're talking about a completely different thing. They just choked last week, to be honest. They should be 2-1 right now, but they choked. They had to close out maps, like Ant said, get those W's.
Well, I think this is the first time, Study, we're saying they should be, 2-1 per se, as opposed to like during the PLQ where like how did they win those? Now this time it's like you should have won them, which is good.
Yeah, 100%, because I don't know, the addition to Priesta to the team, I feel like everyone's role is just so much better and so much more consistent, especially when it comes down to the controls in their hard points. They've been looking a lot better in their hard points. In their S&Ds, I just feel like the communication is lacking for them. As you can remember from last week in that last round, there was no way they were communicating correctly in that situation. But just overall, I just felt like this team definitely got better with the pickup of Priesta, and I'm excited to see him play today.
Now, Nameless, on the side of Envy, of course, maybe no more shooting bodies coming out of certain people, but I mean, they can do it, but it seems like they're underperforming. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, we keep talking about it. It really comes down to the role players. Like one map we'll see, Aches take off of the control. He's been pretty solid in that mode throughout, and then next map he won't be too good. And then you have Hook dropping a 1.5, and everybody else kind of, lingering around the 0.98 all the way down to 0.78, which is just unacceptable. Like this guy's stats across the board are incredible from top to bottom, especially in the hard point. Like, they're coming close to these hard points. They're winning hard points with him doing that. Imagine if you have another player stepping up to the plate, slaying one of the Maddox players. Pick it up. Start getting some kills. Pick up those streaks. Bait this guy. He's one of the fastest players in the game. It's pretty easy to play with a guy like Hook. I've played with him online in 10s before, and I'm like, wow, I could win everything with him. So just like use him to your advantage and actually start winning these games. And Envy, if the other 4 players pick it up, they can absolutely do that.
I feel like if you guys remember last year when Pat was talking about his curse, the EG curse, where he always went game 5, round 11. Even last week, they went to 3 games 5s, round 11, and lost 2 and only won 1. So it's not like their S&D is like, at least they're winning rounds, putting it up. It's a really, really close match every single time. Only thing is, Ake's a sniper to me. Just not useful.
But at the same time, Pac, we also need to see more out of Apathy, do you think?
Oh, he knows that. He's been one of the worst players of this division, and that's not something you ever are supposed to say about somebody of his caliber.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic player normally. He gets back to that status, and Envy could bounce back quickly. It's not just Apathy, though. We've been harping on Apathy. I really think it's more of like the Maddox players, because Maddox players are the ones that have been shining. They're not shining. Neither of their, like, Silly's playing all right, but like the duo, neither of them are shining. We've seen Lucky and Journey shine. Aqua and Looney shine. Like, you need those guys to shine and start taking over maps.
And in Division A, all the Maddox players were just taking off. And it's like for Envy, it's their SOG player. Hook is the guy that's doing it all. It's like Aches needs to step it up. Like these guys on this team, just a little bit more slaying power, and they'll be dominating respawns because they're winning respawns. They're going game 5. They're taking that first hard point in some of these series. They can absolutely be 3-1-ing teams. Like even if their search and destroy isn't great, this is a good enough talented team that they can win 3-1 by winning the respawns.
Yeah, well, we will have to see if Envy can get their Maddoxes to step up, and we'll see if 100T can get that clutch factor. But we are going to hand it over now to our casters, Ben and Chance.
Thank you very much, Katie, and thank you to everyone at the desk. A brand new week starting off with a fantastic game, 100 Thieves versus Envy. Chance, I'm so excited for this one, and I'm honestly not too sure how this is going to go, because interesting enough, you heard Study there mention a little bit about, you know, Aches and the Search and Destroy curse. Well, fun fact, Envy on LAN this year, 11-6. 5 of those 6 losses have come Game 5, Round 10 or 11. That's a pretty brutal stat.
Like, and I don't even know what you make. Like, if you're positive, you say, hey, I mean, we're obviously a great team. Clutch factor not really going our way, but we're world champions and we got Huke in our back pocket. So once those things fall into place, you take those 5-6 games, give us those series, all of a sudden instead of placing top 12, now you're top 4 or even better. Right. Instead of being 1-2 in the pro league, hey, you're 3-0, wherever it's going to be. So little small details, whatever they need to do to fix that S&D, of course, that is what Envy is going to be focusing on. Sure. And for the flip side, 100 Thieves, everything. Well, except for control. We'll focus on everything except for control. Try to get Priesta filled into the new role. Try to, you know, work out some of the kinks, and, well, they'll be on their way.
And again, we've talked about it a fair amount here at the CWL throughout this past week, but you feel like 100 Thieves, they have improved from what we've seen in the past. The question is, how much have they improved? Well, the answer, not enough, clearly. Still losing matches, which you think that they should be able to take home, losing rounds in Search and Destroy, which they definitely shouldn't. But as time goes on, again, you expect this team to just get better and better and better.
And this is a really good metric test for, like, the side of 100 Thieves at the very least, right? Because they've lost 2 matches so far, but against the toughest competition. Exactly. Well, we're expecting them to see at the very least. But Envy is a team that is at a caliber. We expect both of these teams to be very good, but they're both 1-2. They've both taken some tough losses, and they're both in a spot of, like, I mean, yet, like, roster changes are on board, maybe, obviously, already for 100 Thieves, maybe for Envy. So they're in not a terrible spot, but a tough spot to be in. And for both teams, if they come out and smoke the other, get the hot 3-0, then you have to just be filled with an extra amount of confidence of we're going to place top 4 in this division, no problem. Even beyond that, and come Fort Worth in a couple weeks, we're going to feel very confident in our gameplay. But if you start losing to these, like, middle-of-the-road teams, you just get filled with doubt. We have so much to work on. There's not enough time. So this is an important series.
And to your point, yeah, you can get a ton of confidence for this for not only the rest of the week, but looking forward towards CWL Dallas. And game number 1, a Gridlock. Hard point, of course, underway. We're going to be on board with Huku. I've openly came out last week and said, you know what, I doubted this guy in the past. But everything I've seen so far, I mean, without him, what is Team Envious? I mean, what are they really? They're a team getting 100-point clubs in hardpoint.
I was like, worse than hardpoint, definitely. He's out here, like, he's a player that doesn't always go off, but he's normally having, like, fairly decent respawn games, except for those games where he completely takes over and just, like, single-handedly wins them for you. So always have to keep an eye on that man on the map. Unfortunately for him, the stun is just going to take care of business. But as far as opening hill goes, nothing real, nothing of note, let's say. 100 Thieves maybe poised to get the final bit of scrap time. Envy, though, they break through. But more importantly for 100 T, they do keep those spawns. They got a couple players over by, but Aches is able to take down Kenny. Priesta falls as well. All of a sudden, floodgates are open.
And they're the key fights 100 Thieves have kind of struggled with consistently winning. Strong start from Octane, though, at 4-1 as we jump on board with his perspective. Buying time, waiting for his teammates to assist on potentially a pinch onto the second hill. The pinch will not come through as Huke, with the assistance of Apathy, will lock down that side of the map. Here's a concept assault, just stopping 100 Thieves from pushing from the ice cream side. But he loses his fight. Envy, though, while all that is going on, Chance, they're in the hill, and they're picking up a fair amount of time.
And this is beautiful for them. You don't get the spawns early on, but you walk on through, you make it look like a breeze. Now you're getting posed to rotate, even if you want, like, this far in advance. Like, 100 Thieves are going for one final push up front, but they got to get past a couple players. It looks like Octane with the ICR takes down the front line, and so they do make the break, but albeit just for 20 seconds. Meanwhile, rotation's there.
No, they don't even get the scrap time. It was Apathy who was lingering around 18-wheeler, and he was able to just slow down that final push enough to split the scrap time. But as it stands, 57-20, the lead as we go over towards our third hill. And Aches he's getting loud. Obviously, you heard on Hot Mic from Slasher the rivalry those two players have. Well, the rivalry definitely exists from Aches' perspective as well.
I mean, rivalry, they're like 2 of the best friends you're ever going to see. They go on vacations together, hang out, enjoy each other's company. Never an argument hear from either. But again, getting hype, and for decent reason. Envy inside the hill, racking up the time. They've got a fairly decent lockdown for the moment. Octane gets dropped, and 100 Thieves is pretty much a navel going for the pinch. Eventually, he gets sniffed out. Comes down to a 50-50 inside the hill. And looks like 100 Thieves might be able to break through.
And one of the key players for Team Envy, so we've said needs to really step up their game here at the Pro League, has been Apathy, currently at 6-5. A good start from him so far, but definitely had some lackluster performances so far here, as finally 100 Thieves able to again fight through. But Chance, it's just a scrap once again. You love to see them rotate early and get a full 60 on one of these upcoming hills.
I mean, you know, easier said than done.
Oh,
yeah, you just love to see him get a full 60, but for situations they've had, yes, they could absolutely be getting more out of it. Of course, now for the flip side of Envy, they're the guys that have the early rotation, but inside the back, it's the new man, Prisa. He's got a teammate Slasher to boot to work with. They're trying to secure these back spawns, but they're getting flanked as you speak, and it looks like they did not stiff it out. Hugh gets free kill number 1. Slasher's in the back alley. Apathy takes care of him. And this is Envy just trying to make sure to secure as much time as they can. They get the back spawns. Clearance is there. Just deal with the front pressure.
Just feels like their timing is just a little bit off. Too many times Envy have flanked the flank and controlled the spawns a little bit more successful, but this could be the opening they need. 3 players go down, pushing through the front, but there's Apathy, there's Silly for Team Envious to shut it down. And again, 18 seconds left. The current lead, 110-50 in favor of the boys in blue, as the final push from Enable will be shut down. Silly claims the kill and also puts himself now in a nice position here, Chance. 160 points away from the first streak.
I mean, obviously they're nice to get, but the question is, like, does he even need them? 15-5 without the streaks. They still have a pretty sizable lead in spite of, well, the lack of utility. Of course, though, he's going to be hunting him down. Even just one break could get him, but the kill is going to get him the lightning strike. Creeping up on the Hellstorm. This is just Envy, well, attempting to pour it on.
That's fantastic stuff from him. 25 points. Will Silly get more streaks? This could be bad news now for 100 Thieves if he's able to do so. The score, 123-67. Silly finally falls, and with 100 Thieves down, but by no means out, we'll send it over to Astro Gaming Listening.
Still close blue, got one.
Yeah, he's slid, he's one hit in hole.
I have my tempest out. I got a hill, one blue shot. Top blue tempest, top blue tempest. He's dead, I have my grass strikes.
Yo, he's up top.
Top broken pat.
Yo, Absidu, one hit, guys. Absidu.
That's one all the way out.
That's one all the way out.
Hey,
18, one hit, and Sushi.
Stay alive, guys, just stay alive.
There's 3 18. Come in front. Oh, they got me. Alright, we're coming front.
Outside of Sushi, what's front of me?
I got you up.
What's front of me?
Is he behind milk?
Yeah, he's behind milk. He still has more.
Behind milk, Make sure you have flag, guys.
One's back soda.
I'll take the underpass, I think. Sushi Underpass, Kyler. He's weak. Sushi Adam. Make sure you have flag.
I'm coming.
Back fire truck. Full squad.
I need a Sushi.
Take your time, front. We're coming. Coming front. Nice, 2.
Mill there. I have Mill.
3. I'm getting 18. Coming front fast.
Colors Mill. I got Kyle.
He's weak. Mill.
Mill got me. He's in Mill.
18.
I'm stunned.
Outside Sushi, inside Sushi. There's 4 and old.
They're listening with 100 Thieves. Still down, though, in game number 1. 155-79. As Envy are going to go ahead and pick up the scrap time from that hill. They have a comfortable lead, Chance. 100 points as we go through towards the next hard point.
You're going to see the vision pulses getting called in as well, just to help with the break. So Silly just, you know, scouting out information through walls for his teammates. Priesta, though, going to shut down the gravity slam.
That's
vision
huge.
pulse or not, that is reaction time that, well, it just simply cannot be taught.
And this is their chance. Because they invest the crash as well. They need the hill time, though. They're ready and waiting and set up, but Envy now going to push straight through. More kills for 100 Thieves. 40 seconds remains. Again, no one from 100 Thieves in the hill, though. Bring up a fair amount of time as Kenny doing his best to just slay around showers and buy time for his teammates to assist. The War Machine rattles off in the distance. Kenny with another. That's his 4th in a row as he looks for number 5. 275 away from streaks of his own. 100 Thieves, they're fighting back into this one, and Kenny's done a great job of slaying, but again, not picking up as much hill time as maybe they should have.
Well, I mean, Kenny, if you paid any attention to World War II, you know, he is allergic to the hill. The beautiful thing in the past game, though, is it's because he's killing everything on the map. And, well, this game, 14-5, admittedly, though, heating up. But if you're tossing away some hill time, you're going to have to get the streaks 175 away. That stun is not going to be helpful to the process. 2 players pushing over.
Done well. He's done very well, but not well enough. Unfortunately, Slasher not able to get there quick enough as New Hill pops. 100 Thieves first to the party. How much time can they lock in, though? Because Envy, they're going to assault through B Street. 3 players over on that side of the map. Octane forced to pull away. Big chunk of time here would be wonderful for 100 Thieves. 3 kills in Envy's favor, though, and Octane's forced into action. Finds the first. How long can he delay? How much time can he buy for his teammates? Apathy flies straight at Octane. He finds the kill. Now it's Enabled trying to break through the back door. He's unsuccessful. Priesta's turn as he waits for the envious players at the front side to finally challenge a good hold. In fact, a great hold there from Team Envy.
I mean, this is a couple times where it seems like 100 Thieves has the setup, has mostly everything they want, and then Envy just walks through and kills everything. I think like we saw that on the second hill as well.
Yeah.
Not even trading. There's nothing to trade because they're just not dying. Like, it's literally just kill after kill in their favor, and, well, Envy will take the 80-point lead in spite of Priest's best efforts. Of course, 100 Thieves, once again, they get their early rotation in new, but they are just down by so much time. They're going to have to play near perfectly.
Yeah, and it's the new man, once again, putting on a great display for his new team. 20-17. Currently sits Priesta, Octane 20-15. Solid games, but is it going to be enough? There's 100 Thieves, again, on P1, on the first hill. 30 seconds remain. The lead could be drastically reduced here with a full hold. 205 to 160. Priesta looking to pre-fire on the hill. Meanwhile, Slasher watching the rotation towards next. He's rotated early here just to watch that line of sight. He's going to get a call out from Kenny that there is an Envy player up top, so Slasher in the kill feed will find 2. As well as that, Kenny now with streaks. That's going to be 2 for him. The Hellstorm and the Lightning didn't even have a tier 3 on, but for 100 Thieves, if there was a chance of them coming back into this game, those streaks chance could be massive.
Unfortunately, it's tough. Like, what hill to use that when, because it's always that first hill. It's always the open one you go for, so a little bit more difficult to get amazing use out of it. Of course, though, you don't need to if your teammates just start killing everything. They are inside the hill. They could easily retake the lead here, and they had the Vision Pulse to help make it happen. So that does get used. They get time on board, and Envy, for the moment, no one anywhere near the hill. 100 Thieves has pushed out everything.
And credit to Slasher as well for rotating early towards this hill. They still haven't invested the streaks. It seems as if now that we will have a lead change for what feels like the first time in the game. 100 Thieves take control here of map 1. 208 and growing. Still 20 seconds, bear in mind, of hill time, and Slasher's working towards some streaks of his own. If you're Envy, you may just have to chalk it. You may now just have to say, all right, we've got to rotate, and we have to play this perfect.
And I think this might be a situation where Kenny calls something in. They're looking for kills that they can get it, but you can see Slasher not playing aggressive. Just wants to get the kills that they can find it, but the stun does take him down. But new hill popped. Potentially want to get him out of hill with the Lightning Strike or Hellstorm, but they might just be doing it with their guns, trying to get inside, of course, though. Uke inside does have the Gravity Slam if they get too close.
And that's everything. The Grav Slam flies out, finds Slasher, stun connects with Hook. Apathy there for support, though, as Hook finds himself 2. Can he find 3? Ring around the Rosie. Player over towards Towson. Priesta will surely be called out. Hook finally drops Priesta with a double of his own. 226, 220. Envious now in the hill. Take that back. 100 Thieves back in the hill as Silly pops himself a double. App shuts down Octane. It's going to be a chaotic final 20 seconds or so to this game as App slides straight into Slasher, shuts down his former teammate, and Envy looking to put themselves at almost touching distance. They cannot win on this hill, but boy oh boy, chance can they put themselves close as Kenny delays and finds an easy kill there onto Hook.
Well, you see Slasher spawns out. He didn't want to push for ult, but his teammates on the top side are at least going to make it murky. They're going to be, what, 10 seconds away from winning the game, 14 for the flip side. 100 Thieves in here early, and look how far Envy is away. They're going to have to fly at this hill. You only get 5 seconds.
It's Aches, and he has a War Machine. He's relying heavily on maybe a teammate going for a little bit of a contest, but he's too late. He's too late. He's relying on his teammates to contest as he tries to get the kills at the back of the map. But he waited too long, and 100 Thieves come back from a massive, massive deficit to take game 1 as Crowder joins his squad on the stage. Of course, that's the coach of 100 Thieves. I'm sure he has a lot to say about that map.
That was strange, too. That was strange from both teams. Like, 100 Thieves had a couple earlier, like, rotations where they're set up. It seemed like they have everything they want, and Envy's like, no, thank you, and they just storm on through. But you get some streaks, which, granted, the streaks weren't too impactful, but you earned them, which means you were getting a bunch of kills, and that starts picking things up to get back in the swing of things. And a weird ending as well.
Yeah.
Just Aches is like, he did have a teammate that I think got to top broken that was, like, maybe a couple steps away, but, like, you have to fly, you have to get there fast. It's just weird, just a weird game.
He was focused so much on the final back kills there, which of course could have potentially won Envy the game if he does get them, but either way, map number 1, 100 Thieves, a fantastic comeback, and I believe Jess caught up with our players before the game.
Thanks, Ben. That's right. Yeah, and so first of all, from 100 Thieves, I did catch up with Priesta, and he just had a great attitude, a great energy about him today. And he said, yeah, we're just really excited to play, you know, kind of coming off the weekend refreshed. And he said the 2 teams that we've lost to were 2 of the top teams, so we really just learned a lot from that. And for this match in particular, we really have to make sure to close out our S&D rounds and obviously watch out for Hook. Now, over on the side of Envy, I caught up with Silly, and he had some kind of similar things to say regarding S&D. He said, you know, that their main issue right now is that they'll get down to the very last round in either an S&D or a control, and then they'll just choke and have trouble closing it out. But, you know, he also said we're really excited to play, excited to be here. He also had a really great attitude and energy about him, so I'm just excited to see how this S&D is going to go. Ben and Chance, back over to you guys.
Thank you very much, Jess. Of course, a brand new week for Division B, and they have to come in with that kind of good attitude. You have to kind of forget what happened, especially if you had a poor week 1, which kind of both of these 2 teams did in regards to what we expected them to do. But we'll take a look now at exactly how game 1 ended. And it was a little crazy as we rotated over towards the 3rd hard point. Of course, kills being traded back and forth. But really, it was that final rotation which was so important. Enable, obviously, early there for 100 Thieves. And keep your eye on that on the minimap. Of course, you're looking specifically at the top left part of that minimap.
Yeah, so 30 seconds left. Envy starts spawning out. I think in a lot of situations, maybe you chalk it, go for the rotation. Obviously, here they cannot because they're going to lose. But they do get back through. But this is one of those situations where I'm not sure how it happened. You got 20 seconds left. 100 Thieves does have a lot of pressure on the top side of the hill. And it looks like Envy is starting to make moves. You got Silly trying to be sneaky. I'm assuming eventually he just gets caught out when he's trying to get back and secure spawns. But there's just barely any time. You have Aches even wrapping back to try to stop these players at ult when his teammate Silly ends up dying on the top. So he helps that side. But now you're right. There's simply no time. Aches went to help his teammate. And you got number 3, Apathy, the guy that I think Aches is hoping can get to the hill in time. But there just wasn't any. Like, he did have to pull out the War Machine sooner. He did have to go. And again, that's 100 Thieves putting him in a very difficult situation, but maybe at least slightly mismanaged towards the end.
And credit to Enable there from 100 Thieves. He took anchoring to a whole new level. He parked himself at the back of the map and said, I am making sure you spawn in. We are not throwing away this fantastic comeback from game 1. And of course, for 100 Thieves, that fight at the back of the map between Aches and Octane just lasted a little too long. If Aches picks that kill up quicker, then he could fly straight through the back with that War Machine, but Octane does a great job of staying alive and managing to just burn as much time as he possibly can from that fight. And 100 Thieves 1-0 up now, but Chance, let's look forward as opposed to backwards now for this series. Game 2, Search and Destroy. Any interesting numbers that stand out to you here for the stats from both of our 2 teams?
There are way too many interesting numbers for this. I'm not even
way
kidding.
Too many?
Search and Destroy for both of them, like you already brought up, what, Envy, 5 of their 6 series losses they have because they lose either
round 10
game
or round
5.
11.
Yeah, so you have that in regards. 100 Thieves. You talk about Arsenal. Well, let's do Envy first.
Okay.
We'll do a little teaser. On this map, 0-3.
0-3. That's not very good, Chance.
That sounds not very good.
It can't get worse.
How much worse do you think it's going to get? 100 Thieves, 1-9.
9?
1-9. Dude,
played this 10 times.
I read it, and I'm like, there's no way JP got this right. But as far as I can tell, like, yeah, they've played this map a ton. Apparently, it looks like Payload is their permanent ban. So they play Arsenal a lot, and it's not good. And this is a map they played against.
That's yeah.
Who was it? They played E United against it, and they lost. I think it was like round 11. So maybe they're not terrible, but like they get a lot of first bloods, let's say. But then they still lose the rounds. So how far do you want to go with these interesting stats? Because like we can keep going.
We got them all for you.
For the side of 100 Thieves, over the Pro League, and this is not exactly first bloods, but when they get a man advantage.
Okay.
So sometimes you get the first blood and things get traded instantly.
But later in the
But I went back and checked of when you solidify a distinct man advantage in the round for like more than a couple seconds.
Okay.
It would be what? 100 Thieves should be up 25-16 in round count. So like 25 out of whatever 25 plus 16 is they do get the advantage at the start of the round. They throw it away so often that in actuality, 18-22. Or 19-22, excuse me. So instead of being like +9 on it, they're actually down 4. They have thrown away so many rounds in an incredible way. Like you go back and look at the United series, they get first bloods left and right. You look at what they were doing against Spice, even on this map, they get first bloods left and right, and then they just find ways to throw it away. And like Studdy was talking about on the desk, like sometimes it seems like their communication just isn't there in the middle of rounds. Like there's just random spots that get up on the map, people just flank. Like things just go wrong constantly in the middle of rounds.
And to that point, I know you love going to your own kind of listenings when you're watching games inside the green room. Have you done that with 100 Thieves so far this season? Is there communication maybe a little lackluster?
No, I mean, I haven't, like, the listening we just had in the hard point, like, the listening was pretty good. Everything was working out, but they were down by, like, 70 when it was happening. Like, I don't know specifically what it is that's causing problems, but problems definitely exist. Of course, if you want to talk about on the flip side, Aches, sniping again.
Yeah, we obviously had a lot to say last time we watched Team Envious with a sniper rifle, but Aches hit some impressive shots, and it's going to be first-blooded here. So for him, that's the end of this round. 100 Thieves trying to converge in on the site, and Abel with a nice win leaves Assault for the 1 versus 3, and that simply is not going to happen. Advantage 100 Thieves with a convincing round number 1. 3 players still standing for them. But to the point about Aches obviously sniping, you know, we've come out and said, well, he's done it for a large part of his career. Maybe never the flashiest sniper rifle, but he says he's very, very consistent with it, feels confident with it. And we saw him hit some nice shots on this map specifically, if you remember, last time we saw him.
I was against Denial, right? And I think if you take away hit markers, Aches probably would have dropped like 11 or 12 kills, but because of the hit markers, he ends up going like, I don't know, 5 and 9, 5 and 10, whatever it was. So the sniping is definitely viable. Of course, if you want to talk about the flip side, Octane, not too shabby with it either. And again, has been a pretty big factor in 100 Thieves getting man advantage in rounds.
Kenny makes his way over towards B, pushes up towards the guns, and then gets the information he so desires, which is Envious are pushing. Put himself in a nice little corner where he can at least watch across. Now gets more information. And that was a round which was over pretty quick, or for him at least.
So now this is 100 Thieves working with the man disadvantage. So these are the tough ones to try and secure. He got bombed down as well, but Enable may have found a bit of an opening, and Octane's trying to make things easier, but 33 seconds left. You're pushing from essentially every angle. It's Priesta coming on the back. That's when you have to get the timing right. When he makes his move, everyone needs to break. Priesta gets free enough kill number 2. Now the pressure's coming to the front as well. Octane challenges, he dies, but is that the opening? No, Apathy gonna shut him down, and Silly gets the final one. Flashy plays at the end from Apathy, who I'm assuming we get to see a second look at with the best play.
Ooh, dearie, dearie me.
That was nearly an amazing retake from 100 Thieves. Nearly.
Almost, but the one thing Envy do so well is they isolate the gunfights in front of them. They take them as quickly as they can, recognizing the pressure on the back, as Silly able to assist with that final kill, or second to last kill, and then clean up the last himself. Good reaction there from Team Envious, because that looked like it was going to get very, very scary very, very quickly for them as the collapse came through. But so far, the sniping a little lackluster in this game.
Lackluster, but these things.
Also, obviously, Kenny with the Swordfish last round. Interesting. Glad that we're getting to see a new gun potentially come through.
Swordfish. I mean, not to name
Yeah.
names, but Pharaoh's been using that in Search for a long time. Search gets to do it quite frequently.
Just had to say what we were thinking.
If you want to talk about other guns that are viable in Search, the Rampart's pretty good. Just throwing that out there. It really is. It might seem strange to anyone who's watched CWL, but Search and Destroy is always like slightly different than what we see in Respawn.
Important to note, Hook opting to run the grenade. We highlight it again because he is one of a few players to actually do that. As Priesta just pops out the vent. There's one. Not going to find the second. Is there anyone in a position to try and trade? Well, Slasher the closest, but he's still got a little bit of distance between him and a potential trade. 4v4, and Abel does find Silly. Can he find one more? X's back steps. Envious a man down. 30 seconds on the clock. Bomb, of course, for 100 Thieves. He's in a position to potentially plant, but Assault could really put a dampener on the 100 Thieves mood in this round as he finds Slasher. Amp trying to be aggressive. Bomb has been planted, though. 2v2. Assault shuts down Enable.
They know exactly where both players are on as well. They're just playing for picks, but Octane, talk about picks. He's going to connect with one.
Okay.
Trying to get a little bit fancy.
What?
I do not know where that bullet went.
Oh, he's just been robbed. That's daylight robbery. If he loses this round, he's going to be enraged, but I doubt it. Assault's played that as best as he possibly can, but Kenny isn't going to allow him to do it. And if you're Octane, you can sit there and breathe a big sigh of relief, because I feel like that looked good.
I'm guessing Spectator for flinch. I think Assault put a bullet into him. I would have to imagine. I mean, that's just the way it looks. Something like that. Codcaster is, I don't know, ever so slightly off from what the players actually see. Because if an Octane hits his shots, we know.
Oh, if Octane hits his shots, he hits his shots, but definitely look good. Either way, doesn't really have too much of an effect on the round. Of course, Octane did hit the first snipe there in that 2v2, just to give his squad the advantage.
And something that was great that round was the utility. I think we saw like 2 concussions to single players out, get him weak, get him tagged up. The cluster, if not killed the guy, essentially killed the guy to force him back up. You get the shots in the back. So you talk about communication maybe being a bit of an issue right there in that round. It was perfect.
Oh, Kenny, exact same thing as we saw rounds prior. This time, no Swordfish. ICR out. He's going to call out to his teammates. Presence over towards B, but little do they know. There may be a presence from Envy at B, but the bomb, well, the bomb is definitely not on that side of the map, as Silly did find a pick over towards A, and I think they realized that bomb was at A. Now Silly's rotated. It's just a game of rotations here for Team Envious as they get another kill. It's a 5 versus 3 in their favor.
And this is great. You get a kill on one side of the map, 100 Thieves responds, so you flip, you get a pick on the other side of the map, 100 Thieves responds. Slasher, though, is trying to make a play.
Yeah, that's
and a play he does not make. He's just going to fall, and well, if you're 100 Thieves, I guess you're hoping that one player can just find a two-piece, and then you're hoping the other guy can find a two-piece. And, well, there's number 1 from Octane. Gets out with his life as well, and Kenny not quite able to win the gunfight against the ICR, and then Octane has to deal with everyone from Envious. So you get first blood, great. You get the second blood, great. You rotate for the 3rd time on the map, even better, and you get the round win.
It seemed like Silly was just kind of on tracks. He was just going left and right across the map. Didn't really have to do anything. It was like, oh, you got a kill? I'll come to you. Oh, you got a kill? I'll go back to A. Oh, B, A, like just consistently back and forth, back and forth. And great response, though, from Team Envious in this search and destroy. Very, very close. And to your point, yes, 100 Thieves record on this map is pretty poor. 1 in 9 to be specific. So very, very poor. But every time we see them play, it seems like they are putting up a good fight for the most part.
I still don't believe that.
No, neither do
I. 1 in 9.
I trust in JP.
It seems like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, faith is there. Faith in my ability to read numbers, but it is what it is. Priesta playing hyper-aggressive. Silly's just going to have to run as far away as possible, and Priest is, again, just hunting this player down. That essentially just gives 100 Thieves clearance to get this bomb plant down for free, and Envy, it looks like they're going for retake all at the same time.
And that's something that we see Envy do a lot on this site specifically, is they will give it up at times and say, all right, well, we trust in our retakes. Can they try and retake this, though? Priesta, 1 shot. Octane will find a double for his efforts, 4 versus 3 in favor of 100 Thieves. There is no flank coming. For Envy, the retake has to come from the front side as that finds 1. Octane will get traded. Now a 1 versus 2. Kenny's going for a little bit of a flank of his own. So for Assault, he's going to have to isolate this fight and turn around and find the second, but can't even win the first. Another good round from 100 Thieves. Keeps them in the lead, 3-2 now.
I think the biggest thing that round was Priesta being bait, essentially. Gets hit by the cluster, you're calling out he's 1 shot, and it was 2 players that slid over to hunt him down. Octane kills both of them, and I'm assuming didn't even take a single bit of damage. He got hit by a stun.
He's at 149.
Put him down to 149. That's a stun. Stuns don't hurt that bad, but gets a handful of kills. I think that puts him at 3 for the round, maybe 4 with EKIA because he tagged up another player. So solid stuff coming out of 100 Thieves. And again, for any problems they've had of like getting that first set man advantage and then throwing the round away, none of that so far. So far, so good.
It's more polished search and destroy, it feels like. This Octane does have the Tempest available to use. Aches, of course, you can assume, sniping up top window. And Priest has put himself in a great little spot just to check in. In fact, no, Aches, no sniper. Instead, just maybe slow playing over towards the A site. 100 Thieves have rotated over there, but Team Envious, they're pushing through mid. And now the Tempest will be called in. So he connects with 1 shot. Doesn't find the kill himself. Teammate is there to clean it up. 2 more players pushing front A. And for Octane now, if he can just hit 1, could potentially chain as the push comes straight through. The slide was huge, but able to clean up the kill. It's a 1 versus 3. And Aches, no chance. Can he get him with the Swordfish this round?
And so one of the things I specifically saw in Arsenal was they got a first blood, whatever random, I think United that they were playing, or maybe whoever it was, and Slasher, whose job it was to watch lobby, just left and went inside events, like wrapped around and gave it up. And then as soon as he did that, 2 players came through lobby, started shooting his teammates in the back. And it's like, I was watching, I was like, how does no one turn? Well, this round, Slasher just stays there the entire time. It obviously helps that Octane, well, had the Tempest to come back and turn and get the kill as well. But just little things like that, just rounds that they've lost in the past, trying to fix those mistakes. And again, so far, so good.
Slasher 150 away from streaks. Something also to bear in mind, and you will see him just maybe slow play over towards A. I believe they gave him bomb as well. Yep, they did. So for him, it may be the play. Hey, go over towards B, see what you see, cause a distraction, and then potentially I'll push A, and he works perfectly there on the minimap. It's a beautifully executed strat. All of Envy rotate. Slasher says, well, you know, thanks very much. You know, I was close to my streaks. All I really needed was a plant. I'll take that. I think he's going to be, what, 25 points away now, Chance?
And now the problem, of course, for Envy is like they're going to go through lobby, but if the timing is right for 100 Thieves, you just shoot players in the back. Slasher is going to have players trapped. They know they're inside with Black. They're as weak as they could possibly be. He connects with one to get the lightning.
You could use it here.
Might be getting the Hellstorm as well. They popped the 200 to try to do extra.
I love this from Slasher. He's put himself in such a clutchable position where you ping the lightning, you may even just use it. He's going to. And if you're Envy, you're in a whole world of pain as Aches does find a double, but Slasher lights up the feed himself. They know exactly where the last player is. Slasher, of course, has his second streak. He's not going to use it here. Why? Because he is simply that guy in Search and Destroy. A wonderfully executed round from the very beginning, Chance. From the very beginning. Give me the bomb. Everyone else go B. Cause a distraction over towards B. I'll get a free plant. Then back away, find a kill, use your streak, get all the other kills as well. For Slasher, that was perfect.
Was that an ace?
Yes.
So he gets the ace, but Ace gets the best place. Like, who's the real winner, Ben?
You're right. It's Pat.
Definitely not Pat. It's the man that got the streaks. He's got the Hellstorm as well. And again, that's about as perfect as a play call as you could possibly have. You have teammates in mid to make sure they're coming through lobby or at the back. You spam the War Machine. You connect with the one kill eventually, which 6 shots for a kill. It seems like it's bad until you win the round. Now you're up 5-2.
And it was a kill that gave him the streak as well.
And now, of course, you see Kenny doing the same thing. He spotted out information. He backs up. And now Slasher, at whatever point, can just call in a Hellstorm. It might be a free kill or 2. And we'll see how many he can pick up. He's going for it as quick as possible. He should have Assault. Assault able to stay away, but the players that had to move into gunfire. And now this is a 4-2 life advantage for 100 Thieves where they got bombed down. And what more could you ask for?
Well, just securing the round. Aches connects with a stun. Now it's his turn with a War Machine, but Enable jumps straight up, takes the challenge, and Enable having a great series here as well. Just to highlight him briefly, a wonderful game of searching for Envy. Now Chance down 2-0, a game which we thought was going to be a lot closer. Not the case.
And now for Envy, you're going into Control, which has been 100 Thieves' best game mode by a mile.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, narratives about teams in Call of Duty, but right now 100 Thieves just firing on all cylinders. That was a Search and Destroy where it just, I mean, they lose 2 rounds, but that just happens. Like, that's a series where as good as it could possibly be for 100 Thieves in that Search, it just was.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful performance there in that game number 2. If you look forward, 100 Thieves have rested on Game 3 Control throughout most of this season. They dubbed themselves as the best team in the game at one point. For now, though, they need to close it out for a 3-0 against Team Envious. It's been a great series so far. We'll be back after this.
The Call of Duty World League is presented by PlayStation 4, the official platform of the CWL. Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the CWL. And Republic of Gamers, the official monitor of the CWL.
level up the game.
It's 100 Thieves 2-0 up against Team Envious. Up next, Game 3, Control Seaside. And before the break, Chance, we were talking a little bit about, in terms of 100 Thieves, their Control and how it's been a crutch for their season. Specifically Seaside, anything jump out at you statistically? Is that a strong map for them? Is it a weaker map for them? Do you expect this to maybe end a 3-0?
Strong for both teams,
okay.
Or like solid for both teams. I think both of them, actually, their best map is like Gridlock. And so I don't know which team was like scared of the other or if they just wanted to try something new, but they're both solid at Seaside as well. I think at the PLQ Envy was like 6-0 Control.
Yep.
Now I think they're not as good, like 1-2 or something like that. So PLQ is obviously going to be a little bit different, but both teams solid here. But if you had to pick a team that had an advantage, you would pick 100 Thieves, who are now up 2 in the series, who are just firing on all cylinders, who look fantastic. But Envy, they don't look too concerned.
No, all smiles across the board, and that's going to be important. That's one of the big pluses, the benefits of having a fantastic coach who can come in after a tough map loss and kind of get your head back in the game, get you focused and readied up. And here's a look at how our series has gone so far. Game 1, 250 to 236. It was a great comeback from 100 Thieves. They were down about 80 points or so consistently, really, throughout that game. And then once they took the lead, they never really let Envy take it back from them. Game 2, though, not close at all. 6-2 on a map which 100 Thieves have struggled on. 1-9 going in. Believe it or not, now, hey, progress, Chance, they're 2-9.
Just, like that is such a bad record that it will take the entire year of amazing play to correct it.
And then here's the funny part. By the end of the year, you'll be like, oh, well, they're only 9.
They're average.
9, they're average. They go about 50% in it. In reality, they're on a big win streak on that map specifically. But we digress. Game 3, Seaside Control underway. And it's going to be Team Envy's turn to try and attack first. They go for a standard down low B push. A couple kills in their favor, but for now, at least 100 Thieves defend.
There's the Sog battle. Priesta, the new guy for 100 Thieves, but definitely not new guy in the league. He does take down Huke, and that makes things oh so much easier. 100 Thieves also putting quite a bit of pressure mid-map. You see a couple players rotating through Church just to kind of check out the landscape before going over towards B in case Envy wants to try to get a little bit tricky with going for the tougher point. But right now, that kill feed, you want to say it's back and forth, but it's really not. That is 100 Thieves getting a lot of kills going their way.
I say it's hard to get tricky when you're pretty much all dead. But Apathy's going to do just that as the one lone remaining player here for Team Envious as he waits for his teammates to push up, get a little bit of map control. There was one player from 100 Thieves there trying to spawn trap. That was Kenny. He will fall, and now it's App's turn to try and strike the shot punch onto Slasher. Could maybe bait out someone to think that the A push could come through. Instead, App very much intent here on going towards B. Can he get the first tick?
Now, of course, the question is for 100 Thieves, how aggressive do you want to be on the retake? Already one tick has gone by. Huke's picking up another kill. They got a couple players coming up front. I do not know what Apathy just stunned. It might have been the opposition. He does get taken down. But 100 Thieves, again, being slowed down just a little bit. Ace is able to find one. Slasher gets the trade, but you can't get bodies in sight because Huke is picking up kills. Silly's getting kills, and what was once a 4-5-man advantage has all but dissipated for 100 Thieves, who are still trying to play aggressive, but the zone has now been captured, and well, that might be a decision that could come back to haunt them.
Well, minute added onto the round. Minute 17 still to play, to be precise. And it's a 2-life game in favor of Team Envy as Priesta finds a pick onto Assault there. It goes down to 1, 11 to 10, the life count. Enable will level that up. So even Stevens, no ticks into A either here, Chance, but again, plenty of time to work with.
I mean, this is certainly a situation that even if you're down a life or two, it still does go the way of the defensive side. So Envy obviously has their work cut out for them. Of course, another thing you can do is always just play for streaks, but it looks like no one is anywhere near that margin yet.
Yeah, we're far, far, far away from anyone getting streaks just yet, at least.
Yeah, but Envy taking their time. They're trying to work from all angles. You had a player that went through checkers. You got 2 that are over in courtyard, and they're waiting to try and make their move. They're able to pick up 2 separate kills. You get Priesta to back down. Now you can get inside Church. All of a sudden, 9v5. They got to win more gunfights, though, because they're going to have one more attempt to retake. Apathy's causing problems, just trying to stay alive. Meanwhile, a tick and a half has already gone through. 7v3, and this might just be perfect for an offensive round win.
Yeah, App just did so well just to buy time. As you said, 7v2. Is Slasher going to go for it? Well, the point gets capped, and streaks are now on the board. So, like only 20 seconds ago, I said it was a far, far away time.
Just like that.
From anyone getting streaks, and I believe it was Silly there that picked him up right at the very end.
And that was like perfect as well. Like that was literally a 5-man squeeze from Envy. Super patient. They took, what, 20, 25 seconds plus the time to run out of spawn to make it happen. You had a player to go around through checkers. You had players from top church, from the front of church, and even players through courtyard. The utility, it seemed like, was used at basically the same time to make happen. All the kills came in at the exact same time. Because normally when you have teams trying to set up pushes, like one guy falls, then all of a sudden one side of the map you have to be worried about extra, and it just can be difficult. But that was about as good as it could possibly get from the side of Envy.
A wonderful round from them. Aches also working on some streaks of his own. 200 points is all he needs, and it was Silly at a very impressive stat line in round 1, 3 and 3, that gets his first 2. As Aches lingering around A, has he read the push correctly? Well, he's going to get the information that he is in fact a wizard. And now the push from 100 Thieves can come in again. Aches backs away though. Waiting for some team support now. Any EKAs, any assists, anything at all he can get here would be wonderful in terms of his streak progression. But not to touch anything just yet. Again, reads the play perfectly. But is he going to find the pick? It's Enable that could shut down Aches' streaks. Meanwhile, everyone else from 100 Thieves has gone back over towards B. Here is Enable. Now a lightning strike is going to be called in from Silly. That will give Aches the information he needs on exactly where Enable is as he turns and burns Slasher. Lightning strike earned. Now, what else can he get?
I'm hoping for a gunship, personally.
Yeah?
You talk about a tier 3 that's nice to have in your back pocket, you might as well go for the big boy.
Oh, there's 2. Don't worry, Chance. There's only 590 more points. That's it. That's all it is.
So close. Yeah, so far.
He falls. 25 to 19 life count. Hook. He's going to be defending over towards B. And 100 Thieves just not able to break the boys in blue. They've set up shop and managed to get all the kills. There's 2 streaks invested, both lightning, still 2 Hellstorms available. As again, 100 Thieves pushing down over towards B. Is Silly going to push? He's obviously waiting for his teammates to come through. Are they going to go for it? Well, here's a streak. First is the Hellstorm from Aches. Silly did make a play while that was coming in, but he will only get traded. Now it's App's turn. 2 players in the hill for 100 Thieves. App surely should fall, but he's done a good job of just running around, ringing around the rosy. Slasher 100 away for streaks here from 100 Thieves, and the life count chance throughout all of that is basically even.
In almost the same way, it's just a nice life advantage. I think you used 2 lightning strikes and a Hellstorm to try to buy yourself a round.
And you get nothing.
On defense, where they were looking great, now all of a sudden things are tough, but that's going to help picking up 3 all at the same time. And of course, you still have quite a bit of specialist usage potentially for either team, so Envy, they're going to burn everything to try to secure this round, which that Hellstorm is only going to be good for spotting information. You got 3 players coming through barrels, and, well, Apathy, there's behind door number 1 is Slasher. More players pushing around the back.
15 to 9. The advantage Envy has earned here in this round 2 of game 3. Slasher does have the lightning, but I doubt he invests it here, especially considering the massive investment Team Envious have made. 4 streaks into this round, and it's still close, but we'll see. Maybe a last-second contest went through, but these kills will seal the deal for Envy as 100 Thieves go down to their final 4 lives. They're going to go down 2-0. A couple of specialists at play here as well for both of our 2 teams.
That round looked like it might have been close for a moment, and then everything falls apart, and that's the benefit. Again, defense is just, it's easier on C side because of how far away that point is. If any player falls, they're a 20-second jog before they can give it back. And again, that goes back to the first round with how impressive Envy was. They took their time, and they had the perfect break to begin to earn streaks to help feed Aches closer to his as well, which he had to secure the next round. But you get that first offensive win on board, and now everyone on your team is going to be at least a little bit closer to earning their specialist. Granted, maybe not by a massive margin, but you got a 2-round advantage for Envy to play with. And Ben, if you remember that thing, I said, I was like, if any team has an advantage in control, it's going to be 100 Thieves. Apparently not.
Apparently Envy said, nah, forget that. Hook pushing down the outskirts. Grab Slam is available to use. Only finds 1. For him, though, the Aches and a War Machine is following him through. A lot of flak jacket, though, on the side of 100 Thieves, and a lot of kills there as well, as Kenny picks up a double. Hook responds with a double of his own. Teammate in support. Octane will fall. It was Assault that traded him out, and Assault has a Tempest. Is he going to invest it? Yes, he will. Envy are the type of team where if they're going to invest stuff, Chance, they're going to invest everything, as now Assault earns some streaks. Unfortunately, he did tag up his teammate, but Octane will go down again. That gives the license to push for 8, and it seems like a perfect time to go to Astro Gaming Listening with Team Envious.
Deep side, deep their outer, deep their outer.
Okay, just shoulder it.
He's cutting mids.
She have flag on, everyone.
Yeah, cap it.
Flag.
I am mid.
Just flag.
I have a light. I can help light you guys out.
He still has a hellstorm. He still has a hellstorm.
Yo, as soon as I get this cap, I'm pulsing.
Wait. Don't do it right away.
I can light you guys out here.
Ping it.
Better for that.
Back left, put out.
Stay on, ping it. I got a shot. Yo, let's push me mid steps. Alright, statue, 3 white van side.
He's pushed up. Weak.
Another one.
Where'd they gone?
He's my ping. Yeah, I can light you guys out left. Yeah, we killed him. You want me to have lightning left?
Hold on.
You want me lightning left? Oh, top yellow dead.
Justin.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Got him.
Top church. Reeling Sam. Got him.
That's 4.
Go.
Right choke on me. Oh!
Nice,
one shot back. Nice.
Yo, just side.
Two back door. Yes, 4.
I got trophy. Yo, I'm lighting the back. Play safe. I'm lighting the back. I'm lighting white van too. Over to the back.
Came in on me, weak.
Light it back. Front corner.
Nice. 5 cap.
I'm hellstorming.
Yep, 5 cap. Everyone get on it.
Alright, in the back, rushing it.
Team Envious have just blown through, or have they? Hold on a second. Priest almost found a 4-piece inside the hill. Hook's there to trade. Almost 2 ticks into A, and 100 Thieves have survived. We've seen epic comebacks at some point. I mean, I'm not sure to this level.
No.
A 9v3 is the highest we've seen, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was 100 Thieves that did it.
No. Apathy is apparently made of vibranium. Silly's sprinting into the walls, and, well, no. Everyone's going to fall. Envy was clean, and a 9v9. You give them a 12v3. They're going to make that look like slight work, man.
They blew through him. Wasn't close. Wasn't close at all. 3-0 with the swiftness. So many streaks, and, I mean, when players are picking up the kills they were, I mean, Silly's killed top window looked absolutely ridiculous. You hear Aches getting loud as well in the listening. Is this maybe the potential now for a reverse sweep? We said going into that game 3 that the players looked cool, calm, and collected. You saw laughs, smiles on Apathy's face. That's a great way to bounce back and get yourself back in a series.
They knew something we didn't. They were like, hey, 100 Thieves getting control, but only on gridlock maybe, and like we have Seaside on wrap, but again, in my mind, that just comes down to the very first round. You get it secured, you get some streaks, you can snowball into the next round, snowball into the next, which you get the specialist a little bit early. So you use the gravity slam to kill a single person, you use the war machine to damage your teammates, and then the Tempest kills a bunch of people, and you get even more streaks to boot for it. So, as everyone expected for this series, 100 Thieves closing out and making a comeback in hardpoint, looking incredibly clean in the search and destroy, but control, you know, a little bit of wish-washy here and there, so they fall there. Now the question is, can they bounce back in the game number 4?
Talk about a by-the-book series, right? Exactly as you would have thought this was going to go. But Envy are still alive, as they will head over to another hardpoint to see if they can force a game 5, which has been definitely a big flaw in their series. But we'll take a look at the final moments there of that control round. And it should have maybe closed out a little easier, but Priesta does pop his grab slam, forces Envy to go for one final push. But realistically, I mean, this whole round was, I mean, that's just brutal.
That's not fair. Like, he had to have had help, but, like, I've played so much, like, ranked play or league play.
Oh, I'm well aware.
I never, like, how do you get kills like that? That's insane. By the way, in the comms, we're, like, listening to Saul, like, I'm calling a lightning strike, like, as his teammates die, and we both looked at each other and we're like, not the best time. And then watch the entire kill feed, boom, blue on the left side.
Yeah, Assault with 2 Aches, and Assault finds one with his gun. It was a tremendous control performance from 100 Thieves. The Hellstorm comes in, that finds another couple of kills. I mean, the life advantage at this point is just massive. If Priesta found 4 here, maybe, just maybe, you could say potential for comeback, but it's just too big of an advantage. Team Envy walk away with it. And in terms of game 4 for the series, Chance, again, looking a little bit forward here, the hard point we're going to, again, any stats that stand out to you? Not that stats have meant anything at all, it feels like.
Well, I think if you're looking, like, generally speaking, like, if you're talking about hard point, you give the edge to Envy, but it wouldn't be enough that you expect them to 2-0. But then on the flip side, like, as soon as 100 Thieves win the first one, I also, from their side, don't expect either of these teams to win both the hard points. I think they're very competitive. I think a 1-1 split is most likely. And if anyone gets the 2-0, you would have said Envy. So that being said, it was a very close game that Envy had the whole edge the entire time, but that was also the map I would have picked them to win in the series. So now, again, as you said, the stats really don't matter. It could be anyone's game. I'm kind of expecting to bounce back, but that's just because at the start of the series, I was like, it's going to be competitive. But for everything that we've kind of taken away from 100 Thieves, it seems like at least made improvements on, if not outright corrected. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I mean, we wanted competitive. So far, really, the only competitive map has been map 1, the hard point. A 6-2 search and a 3-0 sweep in game 3 has led us to this point. 100 Thieves, 2-1 up in this series. As now we head over to game number 4. Arsenal hard point. And it's Envy trying to force that game 5. We'll talk more about the game 5 stats should we get there. But game 4 underway, and we're on board with Silly, who in that first round of controller, impressive stat line again at 3-3, gets himself some streaks. This time he's relying on his teammates to do the slaying, as he picks up the hill time now, sliding forward, putting pressure on 100 Thieves. Is Silly, who I will say, throughout the first week, really impressed me. Last week, I thought he was tremendous, and a big reason as well as Hook as to why Envy were able to get their successes when they did.
Yeah, I mean, as impressive as the 3-3 getting streaks is, the first map, keep in mind, he also got streaks in that one too, and he had a very nice stat line.
His Annihilator play, very, very clutch. He's been fantastic all around.
And it's worth pointing out, you get the vision pulls rocking for both sides, so a couple of adjustments here and there, so maybe not as flashy plays coming out the specialist from Silly, but I'm sure the vision pulses will be on point.
Oh, of course. He's very good at hitting L2 and R2 at the same time.
Standing still and not dying. So you will actually see some bad uses eventually. I don't know who's going to be the bearer of bad news, or sometimes you have to use it in a tough spot, but Vision Pulse, if you're ever using it yourself, just never die. Just don't take gunfights.
50 seconds on the new hill as it pops, and it is 100 Thieves with the advantage. Really be able to control the spawns, though, because it is Hook from Team Envy that's trying to go around the outside. He's going to draw Enable over towards his location, but Aches is in support. So this is a mini 2 versus 1, and you see just how Hook was playing it and wanted a little bit of support, maybe quicker to come from Aches, but he finds a double, and Team Envy, they seem so good at breaking hills, Chance.
And guess who spawns right back up? Like, Huke is essentially bait for Aches there. He dies, he holds the spawn for an extra 3 seconds. As soon as the players for 100 Thieves fall, presses the button, spawns in. And then, of course, now the players for 100 Thieves, while Silly is beating them down, he is also spawning them out. 100 Thieves now on the wrong side of the map. They do have players anew, and thankfully for them, Kenny's able to pick up 2. It looks like he's going to fall to the nade, but maybe a little bit of damage mitigation there, because that could have been very, very brutal for 100 Thieves to deal with on the rotation. But, well, now they have a lead, and they're inside the hill.
Aches actually spawned in, though, and Kenny, don't know whether he expected that, but he finds the kill nevertheless. And now for 100 Thieves, you can work on trying to build yourself a bit of an advantage. So plenty of time left on this hill. 45 seconds to be precise, but you have to win the gunfights, and you have to slow Envy down from the front. Silly in 1-1. Slasher able to find the trade. Apathy flying forward for Team Envious, but Aches from lobby. There's 1. Can he find 2? Yes, he can. 3. Not gonna happen. Enable does find the pick, and 100 Thieves, a 50-point lead right now, Chance.
That is a tough spot to deal with. Silly is just looking for any errant kills he can find. He's not going to contest. All of that time, Envy says no thank you, which I guess the good news is you have all the time in the world to make the perfect setup over towards New, but Huke's already going to fall. You got a couple players coming to the front, and because that was 30 seconds, Kenny has all the time in the world to go for this full flank, so 100 Thieves on the approach. You just got to get the timing of the pinch right.
It's almost the exact opposite of what we saw in Game 1. It's 100 Thieves in the driving seat and establishing a massive lead. Streaks will be nice to earn here from 100 Thieves as Kenny punches over towards his right. Great read. Hook will fall. Now the pinch onto the hill. That's the next step as 4 players from Envy spawn out. Slasher flies on in. He beats down Apathy. And 100 Thieves retake control.
And again, that was perfect. You just have to get the timing right, and Kenny wins the important gunfight on one side while his teammates were making the move on the other. Now you break through, and this is 100 Thieves just trying to close this series down and make it as quick and comfortable as possible. Everyone looking good so far. Preset had a great start. Slasher, it looks like he's heating up a little bit as well. He didn't want to throw on the big boy gunship on board, but he's creeping up on at least the Lightning Strike and Hellstorm. And now again, they're getting all that scrap. They're getting the spawns for next. This is just as good as it gets.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Except for that.
At 13 and 6, I don't think he was actually looking over towards the right side of his screen there. He's so worried about maybe the new hill as it popped, and also maybe considering, should I use my war machine here? Instead, not going to happen. the score 136-44 in favor of 100 Thieves. For Envy, they have to string together a nice segment of play here on this hard point as Hook picks up a double. Sometimes it looks like players aren't even shooting at him. That's just how crazy some of his quick succession kills can be. As he controls top window, 30 seconds still left on this hill, and for Envy, it's pretty important time for Chance.
Though, setting up, looking for the play. He's going to do it, only pick up one because Slasher is actually firing War Machines into the hill. And, well, that's a gravity slam, the War Machine gone. And I don't know how much you get out of it. That kill feed, nice and blue.
Nothing.
Still down by a ton of time, but maybe a breath of fresh air for Envy, burning 2 of those specialists.
And what Envy just did there was super important. They instantly, as soon as they got the kills, knew they had to fly in towards the new hill. And if Fook was able to get streaks here as well, it could aid the potential comeback. But I love that from Team Envious, because that rotation can sometimes be so hard. You allow the other team to set up around that first hill. They really can turn it into a bit of a money hill itself. And unfortunately, the following gunfight's not going to be one. Octane pulls out a Tempest, connects with a down. Is he going to leave it for Slasher to clean up? Looks like that's going to be the game plan. It was Aches that got caught by the Tempest. And Octane just patrolling the hill. 100 Thieves looking to come out to a 100-point lead here in Arsenal. But Octane has to hit the Tempest shot. And, well, he will eventually. Give him enough shots. Bound to hit one.
Player's trying to break through, but he has at least been 50-50 on the connections he gets. He even somehow hits fire on there. Does not get the player up top, but either way, that was quite a bit of time on this first hill that goes the way 100 Thieves. And yes, they have to invest even more to make it happen, but they will be very happy with the lead they've built for themselves. The good news for Team Envious, they do have the rotation anew. But once again, this has been time and time again. You got players going on the flank. Priesta wins the first one. He's at least trying to block these spawns where, well, you can take a look at exactly where Apathy spawns. Just a little bit out. They got to find Priest and hunt him down, and it might be the gunfight to do it. But nope, he is just being oh so annoying. And while he's causing distractions on the back, 100 Thieves on the front get inside the hill.
It was just enough of a distraction. It's Envy's turn to try and break from the back. Kills in their favor. That's going to be 4 down. And they know exactly where the last player alive is for now. It's Kenny over towards Gun. And 30 seconds for Envy. They take this. Comes to a about 30-second game. But Priester again trying to be the thorn in a thorn in Team Envy's side as he goes for a big flank. Envy still controlling the hill. Keep your eye on the spawns. It's Priester's turn. Rotate early. Control those spawns as he spawned out. Doesn't want to give anything up. And realistically, that fight on the other side of the map is everything. It's Assault in a 1v2. If he can hunt down an Enable quick enough, which he's not going to be able to do so, maybe Envy had chance of stringing together back-to-back kills.
And so right now, 100 Thieves, has everything covered. He got a player in lobby, a couple guys pushed up front towards window. Granted, Apathy wins the first one on Kenny, so lobby's going to be open, but you don't even have all the players there, and they're eventually going to get hunted down. Now inside the hill, 100 Thieves just hanging out for the moment. Assault's doing what he can. Aches makes his move. Fortunately for him, he does not find the kill, but his teammates are doing okay. Throws away his life, but is able to take one down with him. It all comes down to Huke, who can only do so much. He only finds one, and, well, does the smart thing, goes to play his life so he can wait for his teammates.
100 Thieves over the 200-point threshold. Envy again, trying to break this hill as quickly as they possibly can, but the problem they have is there's only 20 seconds left. It's not enough for 100 Thieves to win the game, but surely, if they were to pick it all up, I mean, should be no way back into this game for Team Envy. You're looking at perfect hard point for 3-4 hills. Streaks would be needed. Enable's going to invest the vision pulse. Gets stunned though. That's going to scan out. They're going to get all the information they need as he does a good job of scurrying away, staying alive, waiting for the teammate support to come through. But Envy winning a flurry of gunfights. Is it enough to get the early control? Well, it was, but in stepped Octane in his ICR. He shuts down Aches again. Tempest out for Assault. Not going to chain anything. Still 100 Thieves' presence, and Assault's so good with the Tempest chance.
Looking for more. He's going to take down Slasher, if not the second shot. Gets the third, has the hell. Doesn't even matter. Now, of course, 100 Thieves, 17 seconds away from ending the game, but can you even move forward? Do you want to try and stop him? Because he's going to get at least the lightning.
Did anyone tell him about the Tempest nerf?
Oh, yeah, he'll get good with it eventually.
Oh! Fists, unfortunately, came out. Almost found the gunfight win himself, but at least able to earn a lightning and what would be a miraculous comeback. 100 Thieves flying forward. Again, cannot win on this hill. They will get that final scrap time. Now the streak potentially used. Is it just the ping? Just the ping from Assault. And that should give Envy a lot of information, but it's that rotation going into that first hill, which is where they kind of failed in our last rotation of hills, and they're going to need to be absolutely perfect. They can't give up any hill time whatsoever, and that's a miraculous double kill, but a Tempest for 100 Thieves. 5 more seconds, all they need. Octane falls. Hook, look at it, basically doing it all himself. He found another pick as well, and invests the grab slam. Hook basically just 5-pieced 100 Thieves by himself just to keep him in the game.
Just another day for him. Aches with the War Machine, not able to connect with too much, but I guess at least keeping players at bay. But 3 seconds for 100 Thieves. I mean, one good break, not even a break, just a little bit of confusion inside the hill is all they need. Slash is trying to make exactly that happen, but they stabilized. They stabilized. 14 seconds going their way. You gotta win the rotation.
It's all on App. He was the first to the party. Kenny with a double. 9 seconds. Kenny with a triple. And if you're silly, you can't even afford to give the scrap up. 100 Thieves, they sneak it. They sneak it. It was enable off spawn. As Envy were so worried about the rotation, he just slips through the back door and secures a 3-1 victory over Team Envious. Not exactly pretty to close it out, but hey, it works.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, the story for 100 Thieves is they had a pretty poor record this past week, but they played their toughest competition by a mile. It technically does get easier from here, and how good they look in this series. The most important thing for me, made a very nice comeback down by 60, 70, 80 points in the first hard point.
Yep.
And then that search and destroy was pretty close to flawless. I mean, you win 6-2, you throw nothing away, you close out rounds you need to win, you hit nice shots, the strat calling was great.
Yeah.
And if you got those 2 things working for you, like that's 100 Thieves losing the control, which I'm guessing is the first time they've lost the control and won this series this year. If they have these things going for them, you can be a lot more optimistic going into this week for them.
Yeah, it seems like a big focus spent on fixing some of the other issues. The control, not great. I think you have to highlight it. Envy played it very, very well, a 3-0 sweep. But even the game 4, 100 Thieves were really in control from the very beginning. And that's what you expect when you talk about this 100 Thieves team. And for them, a very, very important win to start off their week. But that's everything from myself and Chance. We sent over to Jess, who's with the 100 Thieves Slasher.
Thanks, Ben. So before this match, I was chatting with Priesta, and he said one of the things you've been really working on is SND, and it really shows. What adjustments have you really made there that helped?
It's a lot of mid-round adjustments and basically just not getting frantic. Our team right now, we have a problem with like getting too frantic and forgetting what we need to do. So just in the middle of the rounds, when we get a first blood, just be like, yo, slow down, group up, play together, and play off the info we have. And so we've just been trying to do that.
All right, moving on to the control, before or during the match rather, I'm pretty sure one of the casters even said something like 100 Thieves are a really solid control team. So what went wrong there?
We kind of blew the first round, I feel like, and gave them streaks and more progression to their specialists early. So once they had the streaks, it kind of just snowballed out of hand, and we were always on the back foot. So I think if the first round goes differently, we could possibly win the map, but that's where we threw it away.
All right, and then finally, when I was talking to you guys before this, it seemed like everybody was just kind of in a great mood. You had some great team energy. So how are you feeling overall about how things are going in the Pro League?
I mean, we're definitely getting better. We're sitting at 2-2 right now, which is not what I hoped for, but progress is always good. I feel like if we can just work out the kinks and stop getting so frantic mid-game, we could actually be a contender in an event.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. This has been your PlayStation Instant Reaction, and we'll be right back after this quick break.
The Call of Duty World League is brought to you by Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, the official beverage of the CWL. Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the CWL. And TCL, America's fastest growing TV brand.
Progress, progress, progress. 100 Thieves needed it, and they got it, taking down Team Envy 3-1 to kick things off today for the second week of Division B. Your desk is back, Nameless, Pac-Man, and Study. Now, Nameless, we saw a lot of good things coming out of Assault, but it wasn't enough. And then, I mean, Control was great, but nothing else was.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much just that Control where they took off in that first side, and then from then on out, they were able to use that momentum throughout the rest of the game, and then we seen Assault just going off like that top window play where you got the kill in the window and then beamed Octane across the map. So we see kind of, nasty shot. We see kind of that individual talent, you know, coming out of Envious there. But in the hard points, it was really all 100 Thieves, especially on this map one where we saw Priesta, you know, having a great map. We saw Kenny having a decent map as well. Ended the game with, I think they're leading in damage. So, I mean, 100 Thieves, like, they were down so much points and they come back with the ice and clutch up and win this game, that's something that they were losing previously.
I mean, have we seen a lot of that really from 100 Thieves,
No,
Pac?
of course not. They haven't been clutch at all, but they just showed us that they could do it. We talked about it before the series. Both these teams are struggling closing out maps. This is a map right here that Envy needs to win. And then we'd just be heading into a game 5. They have to close that up. They're up 80 points. They're up 80 points. They just got to get ahead on those rotations and close out the map. Yeah. You got to win those kind of maps.
Especially the way Silly started the game. It's like
28-8.
Yeah, like he started the game so well. It's like just rotate, set up, and, you know, just extend your lead. And, you know, they kind of got in that position where they had a big lead. It started dwindling away, and, you know, they got on their back foot, and 100 Thieves crawled their way back into it, and they had so many specialists at the end. And they were able to secure that last lobby.
In this round right here, Slasher made an unbelievable play. I'm pretty sure that the play call had to be 100 Thieves, let's all hit B side. They sent 4 people B because Awesome was I'm pretty sure Slasher was really close to streaks, and then he ended up planting the bomb. He's won all streaks, pulls out his War Machine, proceeds to pick up a kill, and then just gained the lightning strike. And that was like such a beautiful play out of him, backing completely up, using his streak to make sure he secured the round. That was a beautiful play out of 100 Thieves.
How do you feel about Aches sniping? So.
Obviously, they lost 6-2. I saw him hit like a couple shots, but I don't know. I guess him sniping in Game 5 is a big difference compared to Game 6.
This play kind of confused me. They sent Hook on kind of a solo watching the flank mission right here, and he watched it from like a choke where he's only watching one lane, and he just kind of gets, you know, ISO'd out by the off chance that 100 Thieves decides to hit that flank. So even if like there wasn't a player there and Hook didn't die, they could have just went straight through lobby around and flanked your team. So maybe the play calls are a little bit off for Envious at this point. I know it's 5-2, it's late in the game, but you know, you can still always come back.
To me, that play just looked like they were trying to set up a late flank out of Hook. Yeah. Right there, he was just about to hit the corner and make a play because all of his team was on B side. So I think they were trying to set up like a lobby flank, something like that. It just looked a little bit weird because he was so isolated, and 100 Thieves did hit the flank, so their play was completely blown up right off the start.
Yeah. I mean, like, right there, though, if you're Hook, like, maybe play a different choke point. It's just kind of the comms in that situation are probably like, yo, pick up the flank, Hook, get it. Like, it's not like a thing that they went over. Well, it seems like it isn't. And if it is, I would hope not. It's like, pick up the flank, and he just plays it from the quickest, like, choke point he can find, and he gets isolated, and they lose the round. And then right here, Envy pulls out, you know, the War Machine. They use the grab spikes to gain control as well. Hook gets like a 3-piece. But, I mean, 100 Thieves only need 3 points, right? Like, what are you going to do here when
they just made the game look more respectable at the end. 100 Thieves completely dominated map 4 for sure. They have to close out map 1. I think that's what this all boils down to. They close out map 1, they lose, they win that control, they're up 2-1 and looks great.
Yeah.
Even with this loss ahead to Game 5, we don't know what happens.
Silly had such a great start to that map 1 too. He was like 15-5 with no streak.
When you are playing like another top opponent, you can't afford to give away map leads like that. You have to close out versus guys. You're not gonna be able to pull it back later on.
Yeah, it comes down to that grid like hardpoint. Seriously, like this entire series comes down to that first map. If they're able to, you know, utilize that lead and close out that game 1, this is a completely different series. We watch Envy and we're like, okay, they dominate control, they win the map 1, and I mean, it's hard to lose 2 search and destroys. Like if you lose that, you can look back and you're like, we could have very well won that series. Let's just fix our search. Yeah. But now you're looking back and you're like, wow, we stink. We can't close out games. It's like, what's going on? So there's kind of 2 ends of that spectrum where it's like, are they really terrible? No, they're not terrible, but there are things to take away. Just start to get that clutch factor and close out those games.
The thing is, we both agree they're not terrible.
So, not at all.
They're definitely not terrible. But when do we get to the point where like maybe they have to do something and they have to make a change, do something because they keep losing these close matches? At some point, they got to put it together.
Yeah.
They definitely have to put it together.
Especially by the end of this week.
Yeah, I mean,
by the end of this week.
Absolutely, because at that point, 2 weeks, if they're leaning toward the bottom at that point, that's definitely bad news for Envy. But I want to move